Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about how well I keep my computer. So let's get into it. Now, this is a super interesting question, right? How well do I keep my computer? I will answer this, although this is kind of, I've had a few of these questions where, okay, what about beer? What about, I don't know if I've asked a few. There have been other questions that are kind of off topic. This is not necessarily off topic, but it's kind of right up against the box of being off topic. So I will be 100% honest with you, and I will give you full transparency. I am a absolute slob and a pig when it comes to my computer. It is the greasiest fucking thing that you've ever seen, and I have a few of them. No exclusions. All of the three computers that I use in my life, work, personal computer for playing games, and my MacBook Air, which is like the oldest thing ever. It's like several years old now, which I use for most of my personal projects. All of them greasy as fuck. Clean them sometimes, where sometimes there's quite a lot of distance between them because I just don't prioritize. I don't know. It's the same thing as cleaning my room or cleaning my apartment or anything like that. I do it. It's just that it's not the most important thing on my list. And it's actually funny because some people, when they get into software development, and even on my little channel here, they usually start out by asking this very interesting question. It's not necessarily how clean your computer is, but rather what computer should you have when you start doing programming and things of this nature. And I'll just tell you this kind of the thing that. Well, I'll tell you what I usually tell them when they ask me about this stuff, and I say it doesn't matter at all. You can buy the most low-end computer that you can imagine. I mean, if Bjarne, I can never pronounce his last name correctly, but I have a great deal of respect for that man. I think he explained what he was using was a low-end PC from I don't know how many years ago, and I mean this is probably one of the biggest profiles in the industry, and that's kind of where I'm coming from here, guys. The strength of your computer and like how well you keep your computer and things of this nature, it doesn't tell you much about a person. Or, I mean, you don't need a powerful computer to do software development, unless, of course, you're running Java, Scala, or any JVM-based language with like multiple IDEs at the same time. If you're running like 3 or 4 services, which are all running through IntelliJ in multiple processes, it starts to accumulate a little bit, depending on the size of the project. I speak from experience on this one. Actually, my work project is so heavy that I can't run it on my little MacBook Air. Well, I can, but I can't use more than 1 or 2 terminals at one or two windows of my IDE with two services running at the same time, and that's not strong enough. So for that, I actually need something more powerful. So, I mean, if you're using something like, I don't know, Node or like PHP, or if you do web development, something of this nature, where it's not necessarily one of the heaviest languages around, or one of the heaviest stacks around, it's not really that important. If you're doing 3D stuff and stuff of this nature, of course, then it's going to require more from your computer. But heavy computation isn't usually a problem in web development. It is if you're doing graphics and things of this nature. But overall, I don't really think so much about my computer. It's just a tool for me to solve whatever problem it is. I don't have a specific interest in hardware or anything like that. I'm not a hardware nerd at all. Not at all. I mean, the most fun I have with my computer, apart from it just allowing me to do all the things that I need to do, is to, well, apart from using it for work, I use one of my computers for playing games and things of this nature. And cleanliness and how well I keep it. I mean, shit, I have files the keyboard is greasy as fuck sometimes, and my files are all over the place sometimes. I have certain directories where I put my stuff, but for the most part, I treat it very much in the same way as I treat my apartment. It's going to be very nice when you come around and look at it, hopefully, if I have the energy to fix it. Otherwise, I will live in absolute filth in the meantime. So what I want you to take away from this is that I personally, I mean, to put it into perspective, I can eat a clementine or an orange, lick my fingers, and continue working without cleaning them. That's how much I care about my keyboard. And it's been working out for years. I know I'm a pig, and that's okay. At least I think so. And for the most part, people who really, I mean, it's a personal preference. The sort of computer that you pick for doing programming, or how well you keep your keyboard, I mean, that's a personal thing. You can buy the most low-end, like shitty computer that you can imagine, and it won't actually affect your ability to write software especially much. You basically just need enough processing power and enough memory to run a browser, run some type of text editor or something of that nature. But the exception here, of course, is if you're working in more like a more heavy language like Java, as an example. But for the most part, you can pick whatever you want. Even a really old computer is going to get the job done. So have a great day.